Good afternoon and welcome to Carnation Crafts. I hope you all had a lovely lunchtime and you're looking forward to the next show, which is a back to wear on Garden Safari. It is a lovely collection full of gorgeous creatures, lovely summer elements that come through, creating those wonderful garden scenes that are just typical lovely summer day scenes. You have got the Into the Garden card shape. There's your garden friends, which are the little creatures. Boundary fence, which can be used in loads of different ways. You've also got your garden reflections, which is a beautiful window. A little adventure, which is two little mice on some foliage. And then you've got your wild blooms, which are beautiful climbing pieces, which are important for the height on the side of your cards. And your cracked pots, an ever popular die is cracked pots because it is A, very pretty, and B, incredibly useful. This is 200501 Garden Safari Collection. Show price today of $89.99. It should be $99.99, and if you bought the elements separately, it'd be $137.93. Free UK P&P because we're over that £50 threshold. So that gives you a little bit extra there as well, and all of the elements are there for you on the number 200501. Please do use your 10% discount code from the newsletter, and that takes it down to a lovely £80.99. You're getting a really stonking amount off there from the original show price, so nearly £20 off because we're doing today's show. Thank you very much. You've got the little QR code at the bottom of the screen there to use, taking you direct to the product link as well, so everything made easy for you. And if you are buying today, that'll be picked, packed and posted and out to you very, very soon. The really lovely thing about this collection and doing this collection today is that this is the first ever collection I did with Carnations, and that goes back to 2020 when I first ever sort of joined Carnation. So it's nice to revisit. It's a lovely collection to revisit as well. I am just going to give you a little note to say that the deal of the day today, which is the show that we did earlier, if you want to go and see it, has already sold 40%. It is the big red button in the middle of the website. There's only now just under 12 hours to get hold of it. It should be $49.99. They're giving you it today for $44.99 until midnight. Huge 10% discount off on launch day. Thank you very much. Obviously, that has to have an end point. It's the most useful set of sentiments you'll ever see. Please do check out the earlier show if you want to see that and grab yourself an absolute bargain while you can. Today's focus, though, does focus on Garden Safari. Like I say, 200501. We're going to have a look at the boards so you can see what you get in because it's huge. And then we're going to have a look at some card samples and then some demos. So this gorgeous, gorgeous card shape that you've got, which is insanely pretty. You've got all the elements of it, the garden gate. So the card base itself, then you've got your mats, then you've got your layers. And you can choose really to use both of these, to use one of these, to decorate independently. It depends what you want to do. One of them is the gorgeous trellis, and that's useful for all the florals that you've got in your Carnation collections because you can actually build up that trellis. You've also got the beautiful dragonfly sort of filigree that's so delicate and so pretty, and that sits there for you as well. We come on to the wonderful garden gate, and this is really, really clever, this piece. You've got the garden gate themselves, so that obviously forms a full garden gate, as you would expect. You've got the posts that start and end your garden gate as well. You've got the little hinges, you've got the padlock, you've got the handle for the doors, everything coming together to create that full scene. And you can see it here in colour. This is your colourway for it. Just pull that back, you can see the little colorways for it coming through. So the hinged piece is this beautiful, beautiful shading going on through here. You can have the brown collection or the white collection. You can use them both. These do still have artwork, even though they may just look white on your screen. They do actually have artwork for them. Really clever piece, really stunning. And the things we can make with this are just optimum. From there, these are beautiful. So these are your little creatures for the garden, and aren't they sweet? So you've got the little squirrel with this beautiful tail coming around. So that's a really lovely curving piece, so great for design. You've then got the fox and the hedgehog. Each one has got decoupage elements so you can build them up, and you build them up in specific ways. So you've obviously got the hedgehog here, where he's got the extra panel that goes around his body and then the extra face. That's the same for all of them, and you can see that build here, or maybe in white you'll see it clearer on the screen. So you're building that decoupage, so they're full of character, they're full of dimension, and they're absolutely beautiful. You've got your boundary fence here. This is a really important die, your boundary fence, because it gives you an element that can be used as a grounding device. So we can use it on the floor. Great for using with things like getting together even, where you can use it as your floor base. But you've also got it to create large fence panels. So you can use those as a garden optimum piece as well. You can use them leaning, and as if it's leaning against a wall, and adding pieces to them. So visually it's a really important piece, and obviously you can cut it to the size that you want. Beautiful detailing of wood in here as well, so you're getting all of the intricacies that we would expect from Carnation. Little adventure, look at these two. One's got a little hat on and one's got a little backpack, and if that's not cute as a button, I don't know what is. You've got your gorgeous foliage coming up, those beautiful little florals, really, really pretty. Great corner piece, isn't it? Now you imagine one of those boundary fences coming along this line here, so you've got basically a frame and edge to that card as the rest of the scene takes place on the middle of your card. Those sentiments that we had this morning as part of the family will work a treat with this, won't they? Because we personalise then as well, and that is always super important. Crack pots, this has always been silly popular. It is so lovely. So you've got all of your grounding device at the bottom, and then you've got your cracked pots going up. Now, if you want it to be a lower design, you don't want that much height on it. It's designed so you can cut away some of the pots. So you can cut away the elements, you can use them individually, or you can use it as a whole. So very, very clever in that way, because it means that we choose. It's also got a split die on the outside, so that means it's an over the edge card. So you can have that just beautifully sitting on an over the edge card, which gives the background an extra detailing. So, so pretty. Look at these. All of your blooms. Remember we were talking about the trellis? You've got climbing florals. You've also got your beautiful daisies sitting here. Those smaller elements coming through. Things like this where you've got the grass. So important for building those ground scenes. So again, if you're using that boundary fence and you're using it as a grounding device to be able to place just the edge behind, so you get the image of it growing somewhere. And there is then just this story to be told, which is really nice to have. Got its own matte layer again, and that is also a split die. So once again, over the edge card making. This is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So you've got that window. Are you looking in or are you looking out? It can be either. So we can use this inside, you know, if you're creating with something like comfort of home, those sort of things, which actually has a window. But if you want to do an inside window looking out, you've got the properties there to do it. You've also got the properties to do it as part of a garden. Now what they've given us is the window piece here, which is a separate die, or you can use your reflections here almost like it's a garden mirror, or you can have that on top of it as if the light is reflecting off the glass. It's absolutely up to you. It's stunning. That piece on its own is really gorgeous. There's so much to work with here. Just that one die set gives you so many options. It's really, really pretty. Imagine having two of those side by side from the, you know, to form the outside of a house. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, we have got some extra dies for you. These are not part of the main collection. These are an extra piece for you, and you'll find those on the website. So this is Hi Friend, and this is the little dog here, 200510. This is a show price of $19.95. Sorry, $19.99, $2.95 UK P&P. This is clever and it's cute as a button. So you're getting an alternative gate for your piece. But see how it's got the little hole, so you've got the big hole in the middle, and these two, well, they perfectly match his little nose and his little eyes. So he can hide behind that fence post as if he's just looking through. We all know somebody with a dog who's a little bit excited when people are walking past and look through the gate, and it's the cutest thing when you see it coming together. It's so sweet. So that is Hi Friend, 200510. Show price of $19.99 and a $2.95 UK P&P. From there we have your beautiful light. Look at that. So pretty. That'd be nice in anyone's garden, wouldn't it? So you've got that gold work coming through, the filigree around the outside, and then that gorgeous decorative light that's visually incredibly pleasing. Remember, corners are really important when we make. This is your Garden Glimmers die set, and this is just one part of that. Your show price today is a ridiculous $8.99. Thank you very much. $2.95 UK P&P. Remember, you can get your newsletter to get 10% discount off that as well. That'll take it even further down. Garden Glimmers is 200511. So it comprises that and these. You've got your dragonfly, the cutest snail, you've got a little butterfly, and you've got your ladybugs. So really, really sweet. I love ladybirds anyway. They're so, so pretty. Really, really awesome piece. These are important when we're doing garden scenes because they're the tiny kind of hidden things that make the card very, very interesting. As you're looking at it, you're discovering more as you're going through. So it's really, really lovely piece. $8.99 is an absolute bargain as well. So you've got those just coming through there. And then finally, we've got the extra set, which is called I Dig You. And this is brilliant. 200512, show price of $14.99, $2.95 UK P&P on the Carnation Crafts website, www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. It comes with the sentiment, I dig you, which is brilliant. Then you've got your spade. Remember, we were talking about that boundary fence that you can just lean that against something and maybe have the spade leaning against it. The summer hat, the gardening hat, which can be hanging on that boundary fence, or it can be hanging on your trellis. The wellies at the bottom to, you know, sort of give you that idea of digging in your garden or digging in your allotment, and then that sentiment, I dig you. So there's an extra on the Carnation set, 200512, the I Dig You die set, coming in at $14.99, $2.95 UK P&P. www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. Go and fill your boots with these. Now what's really exciting is, as well as this, Carnation have in the past done an expansion pack, which I believe you can find on their website. The card samples that we show you today have got elements that come from Garden Safari, and I'll show you the bits that come from Ornamental Features as well, which is the upsell or is the expansion pack of Garden Safari in case you want extra options. That's 230423, www.carnationcrafts.co.uk, Ornamental Features. It is specifically designed to go with Garden Safari, so please do go and look for that. I'm sure Miss Taz will put a link in for you as well. So some of the cards that we've got for you today just have Garden Safari, and then I'll show you those other elements. But this is a prime example of what we're working with. This doesn't unfortunately have a name on it, but it's those kind of elements that come through that bring for you your beautiful garden. It's your creatures, isn't it? We love those foxes, the little hedgehog and the squirrel, and the real eye-catching pieces. So really, really stunning. The extra pieces that you see with the florals there, they'll come through from the expansion pack that you're looking at, Ornamental Features as well. May your birthday wishes come true. Look at that. Those wellies are ace, aren't they? If you've got a gardener in your life, these are just brilliant. And also you've had other collections more recently which have had gardening themes. So these can be used in conjunction with these because you've got the elements to work with them. Elements here from Garden Safari and from Ornamental Features, so the well and the roller, that's your Ornamental Features. But look at those little mice. Your gate posts is really important pieces. Your grass growing up, those grounding devices that are so important. You can see little pieces here as well from the extra die sets we've got today. The butterfly, the ladybirds. When I was saying about that focus on little nuances that are in a card that maybe we don't notice when we first look, but suddenly all the detailing comes through and it's that joyful moment. Oh my goodness, look at the ladybird. This sort of thing, as it becomes bigger in our heads and it expands. Really, really nice way to craft, isn't it? To give those little sort of hidden secrets. From there, I want to show you this, which has got those little windows in it, or the little window. A card can, of course, be made just from this. This is Janine's, and it's got vellum behind it. I don't know if you can see my thumb just behind. So it gives the idea of having something to look through. Really stunning little pieces. Even those smaller pieces make perfect cards. Don't underestimate them. Where it says sending you love, of course, that could be one of the sentiments from this morning as well. So those extra pieces coming through. I dig you here, and those little adventure pieces. And that's with the shabby nested dies, so you can see all of that coming together. And finally, look at this. It's so pretty. Look at the little hedgehog. Gorgeous, right? And again, that use of vellum behind so you can see through and you get the extra element. Think about using tiny lights in cards like this that light up that filigree, so you've got the idea of maybe a summer's evening sitting outside in the not in the sunshine, but sitting outside in the cool evening air. Really, really pretty. Isn't it cute? That hedgehog is just beyond sweet, isn't it? This is the Garden Safari Collection 200501. Usual price of $99.99. They are having it today at $89.99, but you have got the use of a 10% discount code in your newsletter should you choose to use it. That will take you another 10% off, taking it down to a very low price for you. $80.99. Thank you, Ms. Taz. Free UK P&P. Please do feel free to use the QR code at the bottom of the screen. That'll take you straight to a link to everything you need. So it's all there. I will give a shout out as well to the Perfect Papers, because Perfect Papers are the best friend of everything you make in Garden Safari, because it's a collection. Anything that is a collection will have a combination piece of those Perfect Papers. This is no exception. Look at the colours on them. They're beautiful. Those green tones with those creams are just so stunning. And then if you, pair the purple with the cream as well to just cool those tones down, absolutely beautiful. Perfect Papers are white at one side and they are coloured on the other. You get 48 sheets, so you get in 6 colours and 8 of those colours. So it's a massive pack that takes you through so much crafting. You can use them with alternative collections as well. Nick has a tendency to use the same tones, the same colour hues going through, so everything kind of matches. So you will be able to use them with other collections that you've got, so they just add in, and they just always make nice mats and layers. It's the joy of using them. So that's your Perfect Papers, 200514, and that's $14.99. All Perfect Papers are $14.99, $2.95 UK P&P. And you can use that QR code and you'll be able to use your 10% discount. Will you be able to use it on the Perfect Papers? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if it's Perfect Papers or just dyes.
You can have a look and see. But just to let you know as well, if you're shopping abroad, your shipping and handling is different if you're if you're in the UK. Your shipping and handling, if you're abroad, will be $4.99 for your die collection. And if you're also adding in the Perfect Papers, that will take it to $14.99. That's your shipping handling, and that's just for one pack of paper. Is it 95? Did my brain go fuzzy? $14.95. So there you go. That's all your pieces. So we're going to get to first demo. How is your day going? Are you having a lovely day? Have you been outside? Have you stayed in because it's a little too warm? What's occurring? Tell me all of the things. Right. Let's have a look. So we're going to work with that main card shape to start off with. And I've got 2 demos with this, and then I've done an alternative as well. So you've got the different ways to play. Yeah. So bringing in just this here. Pull that back. Shuffle. And down. Look at this. How beautiful is that colour with the frame around it? Really pretty, isn't it? Finger lift, Miss Taz, is a little bit easier than red liner tape in this heat. It doesn't get quite so tacky. So we're trying to use alternatives because just to allow for the British weather, which is obviously ridiculous as always. She says it comes off easier. Well, I've just proven that not to be true. Let me see if I can grab it this way. Doesn't help because I haven't got nails. There you go. I love the curve of this, the soft, gentle sweep it has. It's very delicate, very pretty. Now we're rising up a little bit with a cooler tone because that purple is very strong, isn't it? And I don't want it to be that strong, so we're just going to work with that. I've got this on a 3mm, so we're raising up. Bring that in, place, push, pull. Isn't that so beautiful, isn't it? And of course, if you think of the reflections, that window that we see, that's the same tones as these. So everything will match and work. So when we talk about Perfect Papers and how they're colour matched, that's exactly what we're talking about, that colour will always be brought through. I've got the hinge for the gate here and you can see how those tone on tone work. So you're constantly appeasing the eye with those things, and that's a really nice visual too. Right, I've got the little gates here and I've got my trellis. So I'm going to put my trellis on first, just so that I've got it where I want it to be. How pretty is that? Now think of that adorned with lots of small florals. It would be absolutely awesome, wouldn't it? Obviously it rotates either way, so you can have it at either side of your card. So depending on how you want to work, it is of course a double-sided vignette, so you could choose it alternatively as well. But it means that I can create a full gate panel with that. So if I had a second one, I've got one that can face the other way, and I would create my full gate panel with that. An alternative to that, of course, is that I can just keep it edge to edge if that's what I want to do as well. Depends what you're crafting with and how you want your visuals to look. What are you putting behind it and where are you putting it? I'm going to work with it in the center point coming down, so it's just this way. And I'm going to use some wet glue for this. I want it to stick down right to the matte layer. So adding in just at appropriate points. Those small elements of adhesive. Just to that edge, and see how the curve is so beautifully rounded and reflected both in the piece and in the card shape. Once I've got that seated, it makes it easier, doesn't it, once we've put some down, to visualize where we're going to go. Now I've got my lovely gate pieces here, which I'm going to seat at the bottom, but I want to work out how do I want to create some visual interest in the card. So am I going to work in layers, or am I in layers sort of, am I going to sandwich the foliage between the wood, or am I going to put it on the outside? Now because this is obviously a trellis, I'm going to place it between. So I'm going to utilize that height that comes through here. So it places some interest. Okay, so we're already starting to see it grow through. As an alternative, you can just place these in between. So if you've got a little gap at the top, you can just feed it through and it looks like it's coming and growing out of the top of the trellis. So just think of your alternative ways of playing. Wet adhesive for this as well. I want this to stick flat again from the bottom to the top. Ground and device there at the bottom, so I'm keeping it in line. It's already pretty, isn't it? Sentiment in the middle, you've got something really beautiful. Right, let's go in with my gate then. So I've got this seated, and I'm going to seat the other one at the other side. Okay? So that's creating the idea that when I open that gate, there's something happening at the other side. And I like that. It's exciting, because we don't know what it is, Taz. So I've got my gate posts here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just seat that on the bottom, just over the edge. And I'm not worried if they overhang the card. That's perfectly fine with me. I like an extension on a card. Yeah. Pull that through. So I'm just going halfway across there. And again, these will seat flat. Have I just lost my panel? Hang on. Hang on, Miss Taz. That's seated. It's so hot, everything is drying before I get a chance to place it. Let's get that in. Well, it's still splodgy wet. Sometimes you do need more glue. The heat apparently is one of those times. There we go. So I've got my little gate. Now the posts, you can see, then make complete sense. They finish that visual, don't they? I've got a start and an end point to that gate, and there's a reason for me to go into it. Now one of the things that you can do here is hinge out your fence post. So I could just fold that down one of those cut lines where it's stuck. glue that down, and my gate will open. Okay, so I could have something hidden behind here if I wanted to, and it would open. It's not what I'm going to do today, but I did want to show you that because it's clever and I like clever things. I'm going to piece this in a little bit at the bottom. I don't need too much, but I do need a bit more than usual. It is drying faster than I can put it down. Seat that to the edge and just pull it down a little bit. And then we're going to do the same here. Just making sure I'm equidistant. And that should be right. Last piece on this one. It's drying quicker than I can put it down, Taz. Place that down and seat it. Okay, so now we've got that background. Now we've got something to sort of build on, which is what we're looking for. I'm just going to bring in the little latch on my gate first, so I'm just adding small details here which are going to help as I go forward. Hey up. Bye. Okay, so we've got the latch to open it with. I've also got little hinges here as well, which can be placed on the side, which I'll do. One of them will be hidden with what I'm putting on, but that's fine. I'll just put the one on the other side. Hey up. Right, let's bring in some extra elements. Now, I'm going to have my little adventure piece sitting, and they're going to grow as if then you can see the distance. Now, because I'm doing that, I am going to use some silicone gel glue. That's because I want these to be risen so that they don't merge too much with the vine behind, and it just gives me a little bit offset distance as far as perspective is concerned. So coming in with my silicone gel glue, which is a very odd colour today, I have to say. I think it's been hit with the heat. So now that will just see a little bit higher, and you can see the shadow. That allows that perspective point. We know that this is in front of the fence. We know there's excitement going on behind the fence. Coming in now, I've got my little florals. And again, I'm going to layer this up onto here. So these are going to build even higher. So we're getting that beautiful sort of sense of perspective, depth, all of those elements. I'm going to come in with a ball tool and just shape out those daisies so that they've got a little bit of a flow line. There's a cut line around the head of the daisy, or the circle in the center, should I say. So by using my ball tool there, I'll start to lift those, and then I can start working in a spiral around them, and then concentrate in, and that's going to allow that lift to happen. Bring in some height for those daisies. And place them on. So dimension is being built, and we're getting those layers where we're sandwiching layers together, and that allows that lift. Now, our hero of the piece is the wee fox, and he's so beautiful. Now this is decoupage-tastic. We can really go to town with him. So I'm not going to do too much, but I do want to shape out just a little bit of his body. It's not on the next one because the next piece is just the head. So I've got the base. I'm just going to puff out his chest. I'm not going to do anything with the face because I've got another layer for that. Puffing out his chest will just allow it to see a little more forward. Just to give it that added dimension. So So now you see that he is puffed out, so you're getting that shape. And then I'll do a little bit on his face, so just around his ears, around his head. Separate out those ears, just around his cheeks, and just around his snout there. Pull his ears forward, forward again, so that he's got that extra dimension. Just placing that on. So now he is this wonderfully dimensional piece. So instead of just being, you know, very flat, I've got all of these layers that are adding in, and that tiny little push and pull of the head to the neck just allows that chest to really puff out. So you're getting kind of a 3D visual. Silicone gel glue on the back again, because we're going to lift him out. Seat him down at the bottom. So he's sat looking. Now let's utilise a little bit of that space. So I've got this on a 5mm, nice chunk. Lovely shadows. Lots of love. Lovely fresh card making, isn't it? Very pretty. Summer days, all of the summer days coming together. Lots of dimension that gives perspective too. Easy to do with Carnation collections, of course, because it's what they do so well, and those decoupage elements are going to really push your card making further, which is what we want. 200501, the Garden Safari collection, is on the Carnation Crafts website as we speak. www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. You can type in the number 200501. You can use the QR code at the bottom, or you can simply search Garden Safari. All of those routes will take you straight to the collection you're looking for. We do have a combined price of £137.93, but the usual price if you were to get the collection as a whole would be £99.99. Carnation have taken it down to £89.99, which is incredible, and then 10% discount from your newsletter will take you down to £80.99, and you get free UK P&P. Just a quick word to those of you who are new to Carnation and you're not sure about the newsletter, head over to the Carnation Crafts website, sign up for it. They're not going to send you anything dodgy, and they're not going to sell you details or anything like that. It just gives you an email that comes through, and they give you a code at the beginning of each month, which is valid for the whole month on the website, and that allows you a 10% discount on anything that is older than the last 3 months. The last 3 months obviously being their original price, but it really does help with everything. So you can see lots of pieces there at the moment have a reduction. Thank you very much. Fantastic forest there, down by, what was the original? I can't see it. 239.07 down to 199.99.
239.
Amazing discounts for you on the website there. Do ferret around that website. There is so much to see. There's a calendar that tells you when we're going to be live. You can also hit the TV tab, and that takes you to what we're doing at the time that we're doing it. There's a digital marketplace if you want to download certain elements. They're on there as well. And there is also the full shop. That gives you everything. So there's craft store in there. There's, as you can see, glues, inks, paints, dyes, damps, clean and simple, bundles, pick and mixes, everything in there. The all-important one for you today, if you're buying this collection, is of course the download section. The download section allows you to get your free artwork. Head to downloads and free downloads. From there, you're going to search Garden Safari, and once you've typed that in, it will bring up all of the PDFs that go with this collection, and they are of course free to you for the original colour download, and for the ones for ornamental features you'll find everything there. So you want the original full colour download, which is free. Pop it into your basket, check out just using your name and address, and it will allow you to download it to computer, which you can do today, and you can start printing Once you start printing, all you're doing is waiting for your dies. You can cut these out and you can get going with absolute awesomeness, which we like, Miss Towers. We like those things. We likes them apples. Right. Let's go in. I'm doing one more with that card shape, and then I will go in with an alternative card base as well. Yes, Taz?
Just saying hello to a few people who have joined us for this afternoon show. So over on YouTube, we've got Linda Poland, we've got Joanne, who bought this collection last Christmas, actually.
He likes that.
We've got Donna in Australia, who says she wishes it was warmer. It's 1 degree there tonight.
Oh, that's nasty. Which part of Australia are you in?
Then we've got Savvy Crafter that's saying hello. Then over on Facebook, we've got Karen Slade, Suzanne Page, Linda Wilson, Karen Richardson. We've got Penny. Everybody's saying hello.
It's so nice to hear from you all. I do love it when we're all together. It's always nice to have company. I'm using the card base for this one, and then again, mats and layers. I just want to show you the alternative with the trellis rather than with the, the filigree rather than with the trellis. So you've seen both work in conjunction, so you're getting a better, sort of more complete view of what's happening. Let me just try and steal this away. Adhesive is not my friend today. Yes, Taz?
Donna has just got back. She's in Melbourne.
Melbourne. My sister, who is actually here at the minute, but she is in just outside Perth, and she said it's quite chilly there as well. Although her version of chilly is not mine, I have to say. But I don't think it's warm. So coming in with those perfect papers, that beautiful sugared almond pink here, which is very pretty, lovely for wedding cards and lovely for newborn cards too. And then I'm going to cool it with the cream, and I'm sticking with those two. That is delightful, isn't it? That is ice cream in summer. It's rhubarb and custard. It's all of the deliciousness. I love this card shape. I love curvy lines. There's something very pleasing about them. It's like when you have a rounded corner on a card. They're so pleasing. Right, look at that. Pretty as a picture, isn't it? Really sweet, this colour. Small amounts of adhesive. You okay, Taz?
So Savvy Crafter has just told us how hot it is in Missouri.
Woof!
So that's, hazard a guess here, because obviously I've been given it in Fahrenheit. So it's 110 Fahrenheit.
Oh,
guess
gosh.
what that is in Celsius?
40?
43.
Woof! God, can you breathe when it's that hot? I think the hottest we got to, was it 2 years ago? It went up to 40 degrees here, which I think we've never had heat like that here. And I think we were all ready to just pass out. So I don't envy that at all. I'm not great with heat, I have to say. I'm going to put this one in the middle, so I'm just sectioning off that card, okay? So I've got that as my, I don't know my left from right, sorry, of that as my left-hand side, and then I'm working with the right. That's pretty enough. I don't want to embellish it much more than that because it's already working for me. I think this will have stuck down already, but if you want to, one of your options is to place that slightly behind, of course, so that's got that different sort of route to it. Or alternatively, you can place it much further across depending what you're wanting to create. You can put it to that barrier at the edge, and so you've got like just a hint of it at the back, which is really pretty as well. It gives it kind of that light work feel, which is really nice as well. So it depends where you want to go. And depends what you want to do. I'm just going to take this extra adhesive here. Ooh, hey up. And I'm just going to place that through a little bit over the edge. And now I've got my alternative side to work with. That doesn't mean I'm going to ignore this side completely, but I am going to utilize it in different ways. Now I've got my trellis, and I'm going to place this at this side, not my trellis, sorry, my climbing plant, and I'm going to place that at this side. So I've got that sort of growing up, just leaning into this piece of border. And again, what I can do with that is place it right into that center. Actually, I quite like it in the center. So it builds up and gives a center visual, which is very, very pretty. So that's what I'll do. Let's do that because it looks beautiful, doesn't it, as it climbs. So taking that, adding in some wet glue. This is Carnation's Everyday Glue. It's very, very low water content. When I say it's drying in the heat, that is testament to this glue. It has got so little water in it, and we need that because it gives us an instant adhesion. Now, obviously, because the studio lights are so warm, that's a little bit more adhesion than anyone, a little more heat than any adhesion is going to stand up to, I'm afraid. But it's working blooming well considering. Placing that in, okay? You see how quickly it adheres. You need that grip when you're card making. It's such a useful extra piece is your Everyday Glue because it's such low water content, and not all glues are made equal. So if you want that very fast adhesion, that is the way forward with it. Now I've got my cracked pots here that I love so much, and I'm going to place those just at the edge, just going through, okay? So they're going to sit, but I need to tell more of a story than that. So one of the extra elements that I'm going to bring through are those daisies, those florals, and they're going to sit in front. So I'm busying up my center point. I'm keeping this free so I can see that trellis coming forward, and I'm going to keep this side free too so that I've got my extra elements. If you want to fill more of that, then absolutely, you can turn that over and you can build that scene here. So you're building height and maybe have a sentiment at the top, which is an alternative route for you. And then you could add in your florals here. So again, which way are you going to build? You see how we change up just by changing a couple of elements. And that's where we create with Carnation. We add in these extra parts. Miss Taz is nodding her head like that's my favourite design. So we'll go with Miss Taz and what she wants, because you know what Miss Taz wants, we give to her because she is in control of the cameras. So I'll give her this.
I just have exceptional taste.
Is that right?
That's what we're going with.
Okay, we'll go with that. So I'm going to bring this in. We'll build that height there. Okay, how pretty are they? That's a really useful one to raise up, so either on foam tape or on silicone gel, because it really does give the element of it leaning onto this boundary fence, which has these beautiful shadows underneath. It's got that impression of it lying there. Now before I seat those florals in, I do have a grounding device, and this is just going to pull everything through. I'm going to place it just under those cracked pots so they're sitting on something. Once that's there, I can pin it with my thumb, raise it with my little finger, like I'm having a fancy cup of tea, add some adhesion, just underneath, and push. There you go. Okay, so we're creating. I love the white space at the top. I think it's really nice to have that breath. I'm going to bring my daisies in and I'm going to seat them this way, okay? And I'll just tuck slightly so that we've got the two elements. You can see now that we're creating that triangle that comes down, and from a composition level, that's very important. Because my cracked pots are at this side and I'm not layering them, if I put this here, something weird happens. And what it is I've got an L and then I'm forming another one. So I'm kind of, I can't explain it, I'm row repeating. And it's got a funny thing about it when you row repeat in a card, unless it's the same design that you're using and you're after that repeat. So composition wise, you're often better using the triangle method, which helps visually. So I'm going to bring this in, a little bit of silicone gel glue here. Not much, because I want it to be more of a background piece. And the joy of using mirrored vignettes is I can do that because they work on both sides. Okay, so now we're forming more of a scene where this is very busy in the middle, lots going on. So let's bring in our Cyril Squirrel and we will raise him. Now I want to poof out that glorious tail, and I want it to push forward, so I want the dome. So I'm going to work from the back of that on his tail very much. So I'm going to go around the edges first with a smaller ball tool just to really bring in a shape. So I'm following all that detail line that we've got. Can you see how it's kind of moving away from his head here? The cut lines are allowing it to move, and that's allowing me to create this beautiful texture. I'm following those shade lines up and down to create that dome. And that's going to really allow him to poof right out. Then I'm just going to gently go around the top of his head, not too much here, into his cheeks. And then I'm going to poof out that tummy as well, because he's holding it and he seems awfully proud. Then, because I've got that headpiece, I can pull that tail quite far forward, and I just want to pull the end of his tail forward because otherwise it's going to seat funny. Now I'm really poofing him out because I love the effect of it. Let's bring in some silicone gel glue. So I've got my adhesion point. I'm just going to seat him at the side of these flowers because he's very happy smelling all of the flowers. Seat him on the ground and device so he makes sense. And now just small amounts of poof, poof on his head. Yes, Taz.
We've just had a question from Karen asking what the groundwork is from, please. Specifically, it's from the Cracks and Pots part of the Garden Safari collection.
Which light work? The
Groundwork.
Sorry, the groundwork, the ground and device. There you go. Let's build him, and finally his little face so that that comes up more and more. Doing this from the reverse because the face protrudes outwards, not inwards. There you go. It's so sweet. So you've got your alternatives here. You can see how they are working differently with that same card shape. Using colour and tone will change the card, using different elements, and yet we're still working with the same collection, but you get this different feel, don't you? You get a different view on it. Using a white background compared to using a cream background, for instance, will give you a very different tonal shift on your cards. That's important because we're working with the same collection, but we're getting different cards every time, and the value then comes in, doesn't it? We're getting an investment, or we're using an investment, like we said earlier. The Garden Safari Collection 200501, Carnation Crafts website, www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. Show price $89.99, free UK P&P, so you've got a big discount of 10% today, and then added to that, you've also can use your 10% discount code from your newsletter to give you even more off. If you do use that, it will take you down to £80.99. Free UK P&P as well. Use your QR code, of course, if you so choose. Don't forget to grab those other alternative pieces as well that we have, such as the I Dig You, Hi Friend, and your various different elements, such as your Garden Glimmers, those kind of things. Do go and check them out. Have we linked those in the conversation, Taz? Could we?
Yes.
Is that... Sorry. So if we link those three individuals for you, so you can go straight to those on the website as well, that'll make your life a little bit easier, hopefully. Don't forget there is an alternative pack of an expansion pack for this as well, which is ornamental features, and that is 230423. I'm not working with that today, but some of the DT samples were, and you may have seen like the well and things like that it's piqued your interest, so do go and check that out as well. Final demo of the day for you today. And then we're back with you on Thursday with something brand new, which is beautiful, brand new Crafter Select as well. So you'll see that. It's a busy week this week, Miss Taz.
We also have Perfect Day as well.
Perfect Day, and then on Hobby Maker on Friday, we've got In Full Bloom as well. So lots for you to see this week. Lots of inspiration, which we try and bring you as often as we can. It just makes it nicer for you guys and nicer for us. So the card base I'm working with here is a 7x7, as you can see there, just a square. And I'm just showing you an alternative to the main card frame. Shuffling it in. push it down, and let's bring that green in. One of my favourite colours in this collection. Isn't it stunning? Really pretty. Pulling down those elements for you. I am not able to lean over, so that may not be perfectly straight. Bringing in the cream. The green and the cream is so pretty together, isn't it? Really summer days. Reminds me of being a kid on the school playground and that kind of hazy heat that's around you. You're making daisy chains. Bringing in some white just to cool those tones. I'm hopefully getting this about central. It's very difficult to see. Sorry, guys. Push and pull. It's either that or all you get is a great big view of my heat. Right, reflections, okay? So different elements for this. You've got this beautiful piece. I love the colour work on this. I think it's so pretty. Very, very alternative, but very dramatic. So it gives us a real cue to the card that we're making. So in order to piece this together, you've got various different options. I can have the window on its own. I can have the window with that behind it. I can have this panel on its own and put a sentiment on it, which is beautiful. It also works as a label if I want to have it that way as well. So different options. And then I've got this. So it could be a garden mirror, which is pretty, isn't it? Really pretty. Or I can use it then as a window that is reflecting the light. To all these alternatives that come with it, which is really nice. I'm going to use the whole panel. So we're going to go with what we've got there. And I'll just place some adhesive onto here. And just place that down. And push. Okay, so my window is all set and it's going to seat just at the top of my card there. Look at that. Drama. Isn't it pretty? And if I was to put a sentiment there, actually that's a really nice card anyway, because it can have very many meanings, can't it, when we're looking into, they say the eyes of the window of the soul, we can reflect that here. Right, let's bring this in. And I'm just going to over the edge it slightly on that frame, so make sure it's central. Just take it slightly over the edge so I get a different top to just a plain square. That adds a little bit of visual kind of excitement. So it's seated nicely there. Now I'm going to come in with my boundary fence here. It's obviously a lot longer than the piece that I'm using. So I just need to find my cut line point, which I can see is there. So if I find my snips, take my card, once I've got it seated, come in and trim it so it's about the right size. And place that down. Now I'm going to turn it because where I cut it, to make sure that I've got a neater edge, I'm actually going to place that there because I'm actually going to cover the bottom of it so I can hide any wrongdoings in my snip, which is useful, isn't it? So now we're framing out. Let's bring in some additional pieces to make this super beautiful. Let's add in that vine, and I'm going to have it climbing just over that window as it would in nature, but I want it to see on that boundary fence as well, because that's where it's growing from. It's starting to grow up. We're leaving this edge over. It's taking the interest in the same way that we've got this. It stops it from being just a plain card base, and sometimes that's nice. Obviously when we're using Carnation's card bases, we don't have the issue of it being just sort of a static square, and that is incredibly useful. But if you are working with one and you're just doing a square, this is alternatives to create in a different element. Taking it to there, can't take it any higher because it goes over the edge. But making sure it does just have a little overflow on the window itself, and pin it down. Okay, so we're starting to see the story now, aren't we? There's a story being told here, and we're starting to get a little bit of value from it. I want to just frame out the other corner, but I want it to be shorter, keeping that diagonal line going. So I'm just going to bring this in. And then I've got my little friends having an adventure here. They're going to sit, because he's looking right in, he's very nosy, I have to say, very nosy today. And he's looking right into that window. But he is the perfect height to just be having a cheeky little sneaky peek into the window. Placing him down. Yes, Taz?
I'll tell you what that is. That's the kitchen. He's seen some cheese.
Seen some cheese in the kitchen window. That would be me looking if I'd seen cheese in the kitchen window as well. Right, I've got my cracked pots here, and I've got alternatives with them. I can raise them up at the side, and just, I could have took them behind my flowers. I can do various elements with them. I can seat them on top of here, so they are raising up and we just get that sneaky peek of those little mice because they're very naughty. Or I can do alternative things with them, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to play with cut lines, snippability. One thing about Carnation is they are incredibly versatile with their dies. They give us little cut lines. As you can see, it's a little pip. I'm just going to snip those pips and just bring that through. So now I'm lowering my point. I've still got the cracked pots, but I've got the smaller cracked pots, okay? So I'm just going to have that seated. He's climbing behind it, and I'm going to put this on some foam, some silicone gel glue, probably more over to the corner, which will let it rest in a different way. So I'm just going to use this because I am out in my syringe. Good squeeze here. Take it over to those florals on the side so it sort of leans into the window. I've got the spade sitting there, and then I'm going to take this one, the smaller one, just piece it through, take the weave iron, just as a little bit of added extra, and I'm just going to seat that. You see how it's got the cracked piece at the bottom? I'm going to seat it, she says, seat it slightly behind, so it's going to be leaning in and just leaning down, okay? So we're adding a fullness to it. And when I say versatility, that's what I mean. It suddenly became a different die, didn't it? Take it down to the grounding. Let that little grounding device at the bottom of the cracked pots just cover that little crack there at the bottom. You've created that fullness and that rise that we're looking for. Next, we obviously have to bring in our little creature. So now you will have seen all three of the creatures. We now have the hedgehog. He's so sweet. Right, let's poof out that body a little bit. And his very dapper hairstyle. Around those edges, bring it round, follow that shape. Ears. And then full body. And he's just going to sit at the end. He's our little garden friend, and he's so sweet. Same shaping that we've used before, so that we're obviously keeping and maintaining that shape at the front, so it will bulbous more, or be more bulbous. He's so cute. And then his little face. So he completely 3Ds out. Really, really cute, right? Really, really sweet. Easy, easy card making. So if you look at the 3 examples that we've got today, you've got the gorgeous fox, the hedgehog, the squirrel. Sunny days, beautiful sunny days, all outlined with stunning dies and a beautiful collection that comes to you from Carnation Crafts. It's the Garden Safari collection 200501. Has a combined price if you buy the individuals of £137.93. Carnation give that to you at $99.99, so they take the discount off for you there. It's always the best value in the bundle. But because we're doing a special today, taking it down to $89.99. That's your show price. There is a free UK P&P. Please check out your newsletter. That's going to give you an extra 10%, which takes it down to £80.99. Don't forget to add in your extras, which Miss Taz has put into the comments for you. So that is your Garden Glimmers, that's your I Dig You, and there's another one. Hi Friend. So that's those as well. They're all listed for you. We did show you the boards at the beginning. You can refer back to them. And your perfect papers. There is also the expansion pack, which is your ornamental features, and that is 230423. That's everything for Garden Safari. Lovely collection to play with. There's so much to do, and they're always beautiful cards because they've got such beautiful elements to them. As Miss Taz said, we are going to be with you on Thursday with a brand new launch of Hanging Florals. It's not a collection launch, it is a Crafters Select. Then we've got Perfect Day, and then on Friday I have got In Full Bloom on Hobby Maker as well. Lots to see this week, and then next week, really exciting, Carnation's brand new, it's launch week next week. It is launch week, which is Davy B will be in the house on Monday. It is launch week. It's the exciting time that we all really look forward to. Don't want to miss it. It's absolutely stunning. And you'll see that here on Carnation Crafts. Is it Monday we go live with that, Taz? 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Keep an eye on that calendar. Grab your gift vouchers. Do all of the things are there for you on the Carnation Crafts website.
Don't forget their deal of the day today.
Oh, don't forget your deal of the day today, which we had a show on earlier today. So if you missed that, please do go check it out. It is called Part of the Family. It is a selection of sentiments which are absolutely stunning. However, it's rapidly running out. It is 10% off today, so $44.99 on launch day. That's pretty good going. Thank you very much. Lovely sentiments. Please do watch the earlier show. Get your inspiration. It's an incredible set and one of the most fundamental pieces you'll have in your die collection going forward. I think we've covered all of the things. So Miss Taz and I are going to get going. We will see you on Thursday. Please do take care. Make sure you're drinking. Dehydration is not a friend of yours or mine. And yeah, stay safe. We'll see you.